morning, good evening. Welcome to the Global Business Talk Show. This show is sponsored by the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. I am Jeanette Saint-Fleur, your host, and we're going to have a great talk with somebody that I know as an educator and a senator since 2016. Today we'll have the pleasure of speaking with Mrs. Lauren Budd. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm great. How are you?
I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
You are a very active person in the community.
We keep very busy.
Yes, you are. And you have your running shows always ready to go.
Always.
Tell us about you.
Well, I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse from the time that I was 10 years old until I was 16 by the hands of my female nanny. My abuse went on 365 days a year, 7 days a week. Oftentimes when my parents were in the very next room. And I say all that because it has become so much of a piece and a part of what I do every day, whether that's protecting children or advocating for policies to keep those that are most vulnerable safe. When you grow up and you don't have a voice and you feel invisible, because if you were actually a real human, right, people would stop what's happening to you. And unfortunately, it took a long time for me to get the courage to disclose my abuse and to get that help. But feeling that invisible and that helpless has been a piece and a part of what I've wanted to do and be in protecting others and making sure that they know that there's somebody who's always out there as a voice and that you can overcome any obstacle that's in your way with support and family, and it's a piece and a part of what I am and what I do every single day.
So you are the voice, the voiceless. 16 years old, you decided to just go and tell your parents or whomever that you were being abused. Was it difficult? Did you think that you were not brave enough?
It was really difficult. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be believed. I was afraid that I would bring a tremendous amount of shame to my family. And that's what my abuser told me, right? That they'll send me away, that I won't be believed. And so you believe that over so much time. And so I kept that terribly bad, painful secret for a very long time. And I was very lucky that my dad completely and totally supported me and believed me. And we were able to take that horrific experience and turn it into something positive, which is what we do with the foundation.
Great. So you went to college?
Yes.
So this experience did not cripple you to the point where you felt like, I'm going to be depressed and then be on medication and not do anything. So you went to college, you graduated, and then you decided to become a senator in 2016.
Yeah, and in between all of those things, I got my teaching degree,
Yes.
and then got a master's degree, and decided that I could affect a tremendous amount of change if I was inside of the process and worked hard to be that voice for the voiceless. I had been advocating for policies to keep vulnerable populations safe before that, and so wanted to engage inside because I saw that if you're in the game, you can affect the outcome of the game a little bit better than when you're outside of the game. And so I've been in the legislature now since 2016, and it's a gift of a lifetime.
Do you miss teaching?
I do miss teaching. I have the wonderful, cool part about my job is I get to go into schools and read to kids and talk to them about civic engagement and giving back. And so even today, this morning, I was actually with some kids from an organization and reading to them and talking to them about farm animals and sharing, working together. And so that fills my heart and my cup, and I feel blessed that I get to still engage with young people and do that piece of life, because that is really what makes the rest of it bearable.
And as you were talking, and I'm thinking about your teacher, because you still give those kids access to you. So somebody who's suffering from abuse at home, they could talk to their teachers.
Yeah, absolutely.
The teacher is here to listen to.
And one of the things that I love on the foundation side of my life is being able to teach teachers how to identify red flags, how to spot the signs of abuse, how to talk to parents about what that is, and as you and I were talking about before we started here today, how to get kids help.
Yes.
Because there is, and that is a really good dovetail into the policy piece of my life, because we knew that there were reports of abuse that were falling through the cracks, whether it was in the school system, higher education, places of worship, that these things were happening and that we could stop it by centralizing reporting, by making sure that there's a very, very clear line of the way that you report abuse. And so that's one of the pieces that I've worked on for a tremendous amount of time to keep kids safe.
2016. We're going to talk towards the end about your foundation and how you help. But being a senator, 2016, seems like a long time. What is it that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, I get to do something that I love more than anything, and that's being out in the community and talking to constituents. During the legislative session, that's 60 days where we sit and fight over policy and try to pass our bills and kill bad bills. But the other time, and when we're home in the district, I get the honor to get to know the issues and people in my community. And so we get to go out and go to schools, we talk to parents, we engage in community roundtables, churches, synagogues, mosques, you name it, we're there to learn about what those issues are for individuals in our community.
So then you could go back and report in Tallahassee for the 60 days where you just go and fight.
Yeah, and work on policy in the meantime too, because you can't always get it right. 60 days is a very short window of time to pass policy, so it takes time to come up with drafts and to work through them and with stakeholders in the community. So they say it's a part-time job, but it's not. It's not.
I figured it's not.
It's not.
What does your district covers? I think you District 32.
Currently I'm in Senate District 32, which is Davie, Plantation, Southwest Ranches, Weston, Pembroke Pines, Cooper City, Sunrise. It's big. It's over 500,000 people.
Wow.
Yes.
But however, your office is in Plantation.
It is. It is in Plantation. And then we just had redistricting, which happens every 10 years after the census. And being the Democratic leader, the Republicans wanted to keep me occupied, and so drew me out of my Senate district by 4 blocks. And so I am now running in Senate District 35. And so I have the same district that I currently have, but the addition of Miramar. Yes.
So you have Miramar.
I will have Miramar.
God.
Come August 23rd, God willing, if everybody will have me and vote in the primary.
I'll vote for you. You go vote for her.
Deal.
So you have the Miramar section part of it.
I will. All of Miramar.
But you have a great team.
We do.
I met somebody from your team.
Very good.
I think the person is very great, and they keep abreast of what's going on in the community and how you need to engage and do the outreach.
Yeah.
So this is your day as a senator. The bills.
Yes.
How you choose or decide, because I know that you're the minority leader for the Democratic, and I know you guys are odd numbers, but and I hear you talk about trying to get more people to become senators because you have a bigger.
We work hard.
Yes. So the bills, how do you choose them? Because I know that you are appointed to some committees. So what are your committees? I know you take care of your children, that's for sure.
I'm on the Children and Families Committee. I'm the Vice Chair of Children and Families. I'm also on the Health Policy Committee, the Appropriations Committee for Health Policy. So we write all of the entire budget for the healthcare, for ACA, for Children and Families, come through the Elder Affairs, Veterans Affairs, all comes through HHS approach in the state. I'm also on the Full Appropriations Committee, so the entire budget comes through that committee. The Rules Committee, so every single bill comes through either appropriations or rules. So it's a very busy 2 sets of committees to be on, and that's pretty much what I've served on these last 2 years. But have been the chair of the Environmental Committee, the Appropriations Chair for the Environmental Policy Committee. I think that's pretty, and education.
Education is very important, especially that you're a teacher. So your district is very diverse.
It is.
So you have Davie, you have Cooper City. So how do you connect with the Caribbean community since we are in Caribbean month?
So I have to say, I like going out and talking to people and learning and learning about culture and immersing myself in the culture. And so even this last weekend, we were at the Caribbean Heritage Month celebration. I learned how to dance soca.
Oh.
I wind down. I am now proudly appointed a part of the Jamaican nation. Yes,
wow.
I know, by Commissioner Davis. And so it is, I think it's all about immersing yourself and wanting to be a member of every community, because I think you get to learn and grow by being a part of a diverse quilt that is the fabric of our state and who and what we are.
Yes.
And I love to learn about cultures. I love to sit and listen to different things, as we were talking about too before.
That's right.
On the other side of my life, getting to travel to most of the Caribbean.
That's what I was going to say.
To learn about all of the different cultures and communities, because the issues that I focus on, whether it's vulnerable children or the elderly, it doesn't matter where you come from or where you are.
Economic status, nothing.
It's a piece and a part of reality, and that is just so much of what I care about, is making sure that those people have somebody to fight for them, because I was somebody who didn't have a fighter.
Yeah, perfectly. So I can see your passion. So which one of the bills that you passed that you're very excited about, that you're very, very superly proud of?
There's
too many, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I think that one of the things that happened when I had my kids, I had my twins 2 weeks before my first legislative session.
Wow.
And so I still had my C-section scar and went to Tallahassee,
To work
moved
for the
with my
people.
2 kids, and it was a gift and a blessing. But I was suffering from postpartum depression very, very badly. It was a struggle. I was a new mom. I was a new member of the legislature with all these new things and trying my best and not sleeping and trying to breastfeed and all the things that go along with that, and needed to ask for help. And through that and having to learn how to ask for help, I realized that there was really a dearth of services for new moms and babies in our state. And so worked from that time to last session, which we passed, an expansion of Medicaid, which in our state of Florida doesn't exist, does not exist. But we were able to extend Medicare for moms and babies postpartum from 6 weeks to a year. And we also were able to get a tax exemption on diapers for 1 year, which is a big deal. I was joking often that my kids would be out of diapers and I would be in diapers by the time this bill were to pass. Luckily, that didn't come to be. But even the ability to have breast milk covered for those babies that are most vulnerable in the NICU. So I think like those are some of the ones that are a piece and a part of me. I would also say after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas massacre, that was a part of my district. A lot of those kids were in Coral Springs, which I represented and still do. Working on that piece of gun safety was.
It's still here with us.
Oh, it will always.
It's not something that people forget.
No, and I think every time there's another mass casualty,
It goes back to that reference.
for sure, and it always will. I think we have a lot more work to do, and it's not everything that should have been done, but it was a start, and it was a model for the country, and now we have to keep on going with what we've started.
Sure.
It's a whole thing.
One of the bills that I was very happy that you worked on was the cyber sex. That's very important, because oftentimes, and as we're talking about the Caribbean community, so my mom doesn't know anything about going on the internet. So if she's watching my kid, and my kid is all involved in the internet, so we have a lot of those Caribbean folks that are elderly, not very apt with the technology, and the kids are to themselves, going everywhere, talking to anybody. And every time I hear that a 16 or 13-year-old got adopted, and I'm thinking, okay, sex, cyber, computer.
Well, and I think people don't really think about it in terms of this. And by the way, it's not just grandparents, it's parents, because like the kids these days are doing things that I don't even know how they come up with them, but they do. And so it's our job to stay on top of that. And I think you wouldn't let your 8-year-old or 10-year-old or 13-year-old alone. You wouldn't take them to the Vegas Strip and leave them there.
That's right.
But that's what you do if you
When
leave
you
them
leave
alone
them.
on the internet. And it's teaching kids to have open and honest communication. But people prey on children online. 1 out of every 5 children that touch a digital device, regardless of their gender, will be solicited for sex online. And that is a very real reality. There are people that are out there that seek to harm our children, and it's incumbent upon all of us to protect them in the real world and in the digital world as well.
This was one of my things when I was thinking about COVID, where
Oh
everybody's
my
put
God.
that in the house. And how are you going to tell your kids not to be on the computer because they cannot go outside?
Yeah.
Mask mandate.
Yeah.
You did something about that.
Well, I think that we have a responsibility to protect our constituency and our people, and we have a responsibility to do that. When the new Surgeon General came into his position, he didn't want to wear a mask, and actually one of my colleagues was suffering from breast cancer and immunocompromised, and asked the Surgeon General to put that mask on, and he refused to do so. And so we worked really hard on pushing back on not just the Surgeon General, because I don't necessarily believe that he's the best to lead the health of every single Floridian in this state, but again, pushing back on these punitive policies that our governor and those on the other side of the aisle seek to try to push to force, to punish and force individuals who are looking out for the best and the most in their communities, and working to punish them. It really is a tragedy. In the Broward County schools, we saw some of the money within the budget, $200 million, to punish schools who wanted to protect their students.
So we spoke about immigration. We spoke about healthcare, school system, immigration. Because I know Broward County has a lot of immigrants. I know you travel.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts about TPS? Especially the Haitians who are always seeking for that TPS.
So I think that we have to provide for as many avenues to citizenship as we possibly can. And so I support TPS. And actually, while it's a federal issue, we have a lot of people calling our office, and our phone number at our office is 954 424-6674. And we are happy to help anyone who's watching out there, who hears about it, gets our phone number, because we want to help pass that along to our federal partners to provide any avenue that we can, so that people have an opportunity for the American dream in whatever that looks like for them. When you have a stake in the game and you're here, we want you to have a path. I want you to have a path, and not to have roadblock after roadblock after roadblock put up in front of you. And so we support TPS and want to continue to try to create avenues for people to make the life that they want to make and what it is for them.
And I think the American dream at the end of the day is access to education. We bring our children here, access to healthcare, because we want to have
be healthy and safe.
Yes, be healthy and safe, and then you're part of the environment as well. And that would prevent people from having a bunch of diseases and dying early. And earlier you spoke about breast cancer, diabetes, and all those things are happening because we have a lot of stress. And whether they are related to our children or the environment, everything else. So we want people to come to your office, and your office is a plantation. For some reason, I felt like the district was more into Hollywood. I don't know if it's because you were born in Hollywood.
I was. Well, and we're moving. So once November comes and the general elections come to be, we'll find a new office because we'll be out of Plantation. I'm no longer going to be representing Plantation. It'll be Senator Osgood representing the new numbers now. So it's confusing.
So somebody wants to reach out to you, they could come to your office or they could call. So I always recommend that you call first because, you know.
We're always
as
there,
a
but you
career
can
person,
call.
I would love for you to make an appointment before you go see the senator.
You can come whenever you want. There's somebody always there. Zoraida in my office is sitting at the front desk. She is one of those that is militant. 9 o'clock, she's always there, and she is there until the last person leaves. And so you can call anytime, send us an email. We're easy to find because we want to be there for everyone in our community.
You stay connected with your community, and I know that the general election is going to be in November. But what happened in August?
So there is a primary that's coming, and we are working really hard to make sure that I have the opportunity to continue to represent the constituency that I currently serve in, and adding Miramar into what that is. And I'm confident that we'll be able to do so. We've done incredible work so far in the legislature, and as the Democratic leader, want to continue to bring back more Democrats to Tallahassee so that we can stop these extremist policies from coming to be. We are in the minority, and so there's fewer of us than there are of them, and they get to change the board and change the rules, and sometimes that's very frustrating. But we have a caucus that is extremely strong, very cohesive, that works together, and is ready to fight.
Senator Book, I think you're a very hardworking woman. And I see your passion in what you do. And you've been doing it since 2016. Oftentimes people say, well, she's good at it, and she's working so hard, I'll just let her be. But you still need the constituents to be part of this process.
We need people to vote. We need people to come out on August the 23rd, vote by mail, come out and vote. These elections we have seen, they come down to 1 or 2, 3, 5, 10 votes. We need everyone to come out and vote, and again, I hope to continue to be able to represent my constituency and grow. I have come to love Miramar. I've always loved Miramar, but I have come to have just such a wonderful time spending there. It's a special community. Vice Mayor Colburn and I went door to door last week.
Oh yes,
and
she's another hard worker.
Oh yes, she is. Commissioner Davis and I, we have been just out pounding the pavement, talking to members of the community in Miramar, and the issues that are not unique, right? They are across the board. But again, it has just been an honor of a lifetime to get to know and learn so much about this piece of the community I have not yet had the opportunity to represent.
We almost moved to Miramar. The chamber was looking for a space, and we wanted to move to Miramar.
It's a wonderful place.
I love Miramar, and I go there all the time. But tell the constituent how important, for the past so many years that you've been working, how important is local government, part of the system that we are in?
Local government is the most important. I believe in the government closest to the people, by the people, for the people. Because look, you don't always see me at the grocery store. Sometimes with shipped, you may never see me at the grocery store. But you see Commissioner Davis, you see Vice Mayor Colburn, you see Mayor Messam, or whoever it is in whatever area of the state that you're in, or parts of the district. They know what's best, and they have to answer to you, much closer to you. And I believe that we need to let local governments do what they are here to do, whether that's the school boards, city commission, county. Look, I believe that is some of the most important things that we can do to allow for local control to exist and occur, because at the end of the day, I shouldn't be coming in at the state level telling somebody at the local level who and what and how, where, why to do things.
Yeah. So you heard it. It's the same as a family. Family, then the village. So you need to connect with your local government. They are connected with Senator Brooke, and she'll pass it along to the Congress and then to the president. I
got to tell you, we have in our caucus, Senator Pizzo has a bullseye approach to government. We talk about it oftentimes when we're having this conversation. And when you're at home, who's the boss? Mom. Typically, mom is always the boss.
But the man is still the chief in the house.
There you go. See? Yes. But then as you go on and you look at who and how your life is kind of ruled, right? And it expands. It's that local government that's making sure that the lights are on, that the potholes are fixed.
Proper water.
Correct. That it's healthy and safe. That if there's a light that's not working, that we work to make sure that that's being taken care of. And so those are the people that have to make sure that the day-to-day, every day, that the trash is getting picked up, that things are happening the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah. Senator Brooke, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I hope to have you soon.
Whenever you want.
And we're going to meet in Miramar.
Deal. Whenever you want.
That's a deal. Thank you so much for watching this show. This was Janance Fleur having a great conversation with Senator Brooke on the Global Business Talk Show. Until next week, be safe.